This is one of those cases that starts with a sudden, deafening silence and ends with a question of justice that honestly is still hanging in the air. We're going to talk about the disappearance of Mamta Bhatt. The whole story really just begins with a simple, chilling fact. A young woman, a nurse who cared for others, a mother to a little 1-year-old girl, just vanished without a trace. Outside the police station, her friends actually put up a memorial, and this one phrase, "Dearest Mamta," it just captures the incredible personal loss at the very heart of this public mystery. It's a stark reminder that before this was ever a case file, it was a story of a real person whose life was cut short. So to really understand the investigation, we first have to understand the woman at its center. Who exactly was Mamta, and what were her last days like before she just disappeared? Mamta Kafle Bhatt was only 28 years old. She worked as a nurse and was a brand new mom to a 1-year-old daughter. She was an immigrant from Nepal, building a whole new life for herself. And like a lot of us, she was really active online, always connecting with her friends and her community on Facebook and TikTok. The very last time anyone can confirm seeing Mamta was on July 27, 2024. She was leaving her job at a local hospital. And after that day, everything just stopped. Her constant social media posts, her calls to friends and family, they all ended. There was just silence. And it's that silence that triggered the first call to police for a welfare check. It also prompted the first version of a story from her husband that, would start to fall apart really, really quickly. So on August 1st, when Mamta didn't show up for her shift, her supervisor got worried and called for a welfare check. When police talked to her husband, Naresh Bhatt, he told them they were separating. He suggested she might have gone to stay with a sister, maybe in New York or Texas. But that right there, that was the first major red flag, because investigators would soon confirm Mamta didn't have any biological family in the U.S. at all. And get this, it wasn't until August 5th, a full week after she was last seen, that Naresh Bhatt officially reported his wife missing. And only then did the formal investigation really kick off. So, with the investigation finally underway, police started to piece together a timeline. And this timeline would pretty quickly transform this from a missing person case into something much, much darker. The sequence of events here is just chilling. Okay, so on July 29th, Mamta's entire digital life just vanishes. The very next day, her husband is on camera buying knives and cleaning supplies. And then on August 1st, her phone sends out one last ping near a body of water at the exact same time his phone was disconnected from the network. And these weren't just random, everyday purchases. He bought multiple knives. And investigators have pointed out that 2 of those knives are still missing. They're completely unaccounted for to this day. As the weeks rolled on, the evidence just kept mounting. He sold their car. Police searched their home and found blood evidence, so much that they said it looked like a body had been dragged through the house. And later, digital forensics allegedly showed Naresh getting rid of large garbage bags, which ultimately led to the grim task of searching a landfill for Mamta's remains. So you see this dramatic shift. Naresh Bhatt, who was a U.S. Army veteran and a former government contractor, just completely transforms. He goes from being a concerned, cooperating husband to a person of interest, and then, finally, to the prime suspect in his own wife's disappearance. So what was it? What was the final piece of the puzzle that let prosecutors take this case from concealing a body all the way to first-degree murder? Well, the answer came from the crime lab. Investigators found that one critical piece of forensic evidence, a direct physical link between Mamta and a weapon. This was the big turning point. According to court documents, they found Mamta's DNA on a mechanical saw that police took from their home. And that discovery, that gave them the foundation they needed for the most serious charge of all. From there, the legal process moved pretty fast. The first arrest on August 22nd was for concealing a body. But by December 2nd, with that new DNA evidence in hand, a grand jury came back with an indictment for first-degree murder. They also added a charge of defiling a dead body, which legally means doing something to a human corpse that would outrage normal family sensibilities. After the indictment, the Manassas Park police chief, Mario Lugo, didn't mince words. He just stated the department's conclusion bluntly. Whatever happened in the house, it was murder. And that brings us to where this case is right now, stuck in a long, difficult wait for justice, with some huge questions that are still completely unanswered. So where are we now? Well, crucially, Mamta's body has never been found. The investigation is technically still active as everyone prepares for what's going to be a very complex trial. In the meantime, the couple's little girl is being raised by Mamta's family, and Naresh Bhatt is still in jail waiting for his day in court. And that day in court is still a long, long way off. The jury trial isn't scheduled to start until October 5th, 2026. That's more than 2 years after Mamta first went missing. And that really just leaves us with the one big question that's hanging over this entire case. It's a massive challenge for any prosecutor. How do you get a murder conviction when you don't have a body? In a case that's built on this mountain of circumstantial and forensic evidence, a whole community is left waiting and wondering, will there ever be justice for Mamta?